regarding the mass deportation that Donald Trump is trying to enforce if he is elected as president. And my question is, do you think this mass deportation is fair? And if you do, why?
Yes, of course, I do. And it's first and foremost, we'll start with the people that committed crimes while they're here, DUIs, murders, rapes, so on and so forth. So let me give you one very simple example that is emotional, but it is personal, and it is local. The killer of Laken Riley should be deported and should be put in a foreign prison, not an American prison. Now, I will admit, not everyone who's coming here illegally is like the killer of Laken Riley, of course, but that is a very personal example of a UGA student that was just, you guys know the situation, okay? And to be very clear, if Donald Trump was president, Laken Riley would be alive today. That was an unnecessary killing that was completely because of open border policy. But
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. My name is Elaru, and today I'm back with an amazing video and check out with you guys. This is called Charlie Kirk Shuts Down Open Borders Do Gooder. You know how it goes, guys. We talk less and we react more. Let's check this out.
Hi, so my question is regarding the mass deportation that Donald Trump is trying to enforce if he is elected as president. And my question is, do you think this mass deportation is fair? And if you do, why?
yes, of course, I do. And it's first and foremost, we'll start with the people that committed crimes while they're here, DUIs, murders, rapes, so on and so forth. So let me give you one very simple example that is emotional, but it is personal, and it is local. The killer of Laken Riley should be deported and should be put in a foreign prison, not an American prison. Now, I will admit, not everyone who's coming here illegally is like the killer of Laken Riley, of course, but that is a very personal example of a UGA student that was just, you guys know the situation, okay? And to be very clear, if Donald Trump was president, Laken Riley would be alive today. That was an unnecessary killing that was completely because of open border policy. But if your first act into a country is to break a country's laws, of which illegal immigration is and the illegal people coming in the country are, then we have every right to repel them and to send them back to their country of origin.
Do you think this mass deportation will negatively affect the U.S. economy?
I actually think it will positively affect the U.S. economy. I think that what it will do is, number one, you guys will have less people to compete for housing prices. So one of the reasons why housing is going up is because in supply and demand, if you have 10 million new people, they have to live somewhere. And when you have to live somewhere, then all of a sudden you have more people going after a finite good. Simple law of supply and demand. This is why sand is cheap and diamonds are expensive, is because when you have a surplus of something or a finite supply of something, prices will go up, or if you have a surplus, prices will go down. So I think housing prices will stabilize as part of that. There probably will be some speed bumps on the road in manual labor, but honestly what you'll see then is wages will go up, and wages will go up for American workers. And do you know who, specifically the population that will be benefited by this is working class voters of all races, but specifically Latino and Black Americans that work with their hands that currently are having their wages undercut by individuals that break the law, come to the southern border, and then destabilize their working wage.
Well, I disagree because if you don't already know, illegal immigrants make up 20% of the labor force in the United States, and they pay over $100 billion in taxes, but they receive almost no benefits from the taxes that they pay from. So I believe the wages won't necessarily go up. If anything, they'll probably go down because people are now fighting for more degree-based.
Yeah, so first of all, I don't expect you to know this, but they, of course, do receive benefits. For example, they show up at a hospital, they'll receive care. They receive police support. They go to local schools. Right, so they send their kids to local social services. Additionally, they get money from the federal government as well, food stamp assistance, Medicaid, so on and so forth. That has now been expanded to even illegal immigrants. So that's not totally true. Secondly, though, they're still here on our terms. So we just might have a difference of how a country should be constituted. One of the reasons I support Trump is that a fundamental premise of how a country should exist is that the citizen should be able to determine who comes in their country, and that we actually have a say in elections of whether or not it's too much, too little, not enough, or whatever it is. It's obviously too much right now. It's unsustainable. It is then making our lives worse. And I'm not saying this is just because of illegal migration, but it's partially everybody in this audience right now. You are the first generation since George Washington to have life worse off than your parents. You're the most depressed, sick, anxious, medicated, alcohol addicted, and poor generation per capita in modern American history. And just a very simple rule and again, this ties into illegal immigration, but not specifically, is that if you are getting routinely poorer year over year, you should fire your leaders and put leaders back in charge that we're actually making life better and we're getting richer and be able to own homes. So yes, and then finally, I'll just say this. Of course, they contribute to some jobs in the economy, but that's not the point. The point is that those should go to Native Americans, Native American jobs, or even Native Americans too, but American-born jobs, not illegal migrant labor that cut in line and then basically said to the entire immigration system, so bad, it's too bad. Who here is a first-generation immigrant or a son or daughter of? So can I ask you a question? Did your parents come here the right way?
Yes.
Okay. No, this is important. So your parents came the right way, and your parents should be applauded for following the rules and coming here the right way. Do you know who it's an insult to? Your parents, that other people can just cut in line and border jump into our country and basically tell your parents, oh, sorry that you filled out all the paperwork and you waited in line. We can just then do an act of injustice. So I'm actually on your parents' side here. I want more people to follow the law and come in here legally. I do not want a mass illegal immigration invasion of the country. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I have one
Yeah, sure.
relating to immigration as well. Do you think through this mass deportation that Donald Trump is trying to enforce, do you think it is fair that he wants to deport back all the Venezuelan people who just came from Venezuela? And I understand the news has made this prejudice that Venezuelans are criminals, they're killers. I absolutely understand. I agree for the young girl that was killed here. But people do not realize how bad the safety and economic state in Venezuela is right now. They just reelected Nicolas Maduro, and he is one of the worst presidents in Latin American history.
Yeah, again, so in order for them to come, they'd have to come the right and legal way. Now, the Venezuelans, some have actually applied for asylum and were granted asylum through legal methods. That's a separate discussion. I think we're too generous in that way. Others decide to just enter through the southern border. Here's the thing. You have to return to your country of origin, and then we can get our own house together. And let me just kind of put this differently. We can open up our arms again once our young people, you guys, can own homes and have a life as good as your parents. Then we can start thinking about letting in all the other world's problems. Until then, we have an obligation to fulfill the mandate so that you guys can have the same life and access to the American dream that your parents had.
Right,
Thank you very much.
I wish everyone could be this practical and logical in thinking. Now, the issue of illegal immigration. You have no right whatsoever to invade someone else's country. I mean, for the fact that others waited in line, others filled out forms, others went in legally, it's an insult to them that you just cut in line and went through. Now, I do agree with Charlie when he says that mass deportation would actually help to improve their economy. Because just as I said, simple law of demand and supply. When there's more of something, it's cheaper, and when there's less of something, it's more expensive. When there are more people and less homes, definitely the rate of housing is going to get high. So by the time these illegal immigrants are deported and there are more homes to go around, it's safe to say that the rate of housing will relatively get cheaper. Not just housing, foodstuffs, basic amenities and all that. Now, she said that the illegal immigrants contribute or make up 20% of the labor force. Now, they make up 20%. I believe that 20% is a safe gamble, because if the other 80% is made up by the American people, then really 20% might not be a loss at all. And it won't be a loss if there are other Americans to take up the spaces that they filled. And she said they don't contribute to anything, they don't benefit from anything rather, which was quickly eviscerated by Charlie when he said that they receive hospital care, they go to local schools, they are free to buy and sell to some extent. In fact, this particular administration has given these illegal immigrants a lot of leverage. They are literally free to move about in that country. Now, On the issue of the Venezuelans coming in, she highlighted that the Venezuelans just voted one of the worst presidents in history and all that. Now, Charlie said there were some Venezuelans who have actually applied for asylum and they have been granted. Legally, they are allowed to stay. So why wouldn't you apply the same way and then you decide to cross through the southern border and expected to be lenient or to have leniency shown upon you when deportation comes? The thing is, if your first act in that country is to raid it, break the law and go in, there is no guarantee that as time goes on, you might bend their laws in some other places. That's just the truth. You're likely to bend their laws. And he did say one thing that generally every American should be thinking about. It's best that they get their house in order first before thinking about helping other people. There's a saying here that goes, a man does not go chasing rats when his house is on fire. You can't be helping foreigners when people of your country, your own people, are suffering and crying out for help, and you abandon them and help foreigners. That's wrong. In this case, you're literally chasing rats while your house is on fire. So it would be best for the American government to actually coordinate their affairs, or coordinate their house, or coordinate their country rather, before thinking about sending arms or opening their borders wide to foreigners to come in, because the more they pour, the more complications they bring in. And that's a fact. Although, as Charlie said, and I do agree with him, not all illegal immigrants actually commit crimes in the country. As a matter of fact, it's safe to say that the only thing that they did wrong was coming in illegally. But the thing is, this can be likened to a saying: one bad egg spoils the broth. If the illegal immigration community has been tainted already with having at least 30% of the crimes in America done by them, then there is practically no logical reason they can give for, be it Donald Trump or any other president that is not in support of this illegal border crossing. There is no reason they can give that president whatsoever not to push them back to where they came from. So, in as much as you want to be compassionate to these people, the thing is, you have to have self-sustenance first. You have to put you and your citizens first, because Charlie is envisioning a time when homes will be free, homes will be readily available for the American citizens, things will be cheaper for them. They have maximum health care provided, and basically everything that has eluded this generation that was in generations of past. And it's not wrong for him to want this. It's actually their right as American citizens. Anyway, guys, tell us what you think about this video in the comment section. And please leave a thumbs up at the end of this video. If you're just joining the channel for the first time, please click that bell button and remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.